Hey Shweta, hi, how are you?
Hi, Jackson.
So welcome. It's Friday, it's 7 p.m. I welcome everyone to the Friday 7 p.m. show. Let me quickly get my overlays up. Okay, superb. Let me just get my banner and the ticker. Amazing. Great. So welcome everyone. It's Friday, it's 7 p.m. I'm live again just like every week. I have seen two types of people in my entire life. Type 1 are those who try to focus on things that they can't control. And then you also have a type of people who focus on things that they can control. Now typically I have seen that people who focus on things they can't control end up losing, and the people who focus on things they can control improve or increase their chances of winning. My topic for today is change your inner world to change your outer world, because see, understand, what you can change, what you can optimize, what you can focus on is your inner world. Because your outer world, people around you, situation, environment, circumstances, all those things you have zero control on, right? So if you're somebody who's struggling to find peace, who is struggling to find success, I think you have to stop focusing or stop controlling on your outer world, and you have to go back, or rather come back to your inner world and change it, optimize it, and do things that you have full control on. So let me introduce my guest for today, Dr. Shweta Iyengar. Shweta, such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Nice. I'm really
And
happy
let
to be here. Thank you for having me over.
Thank you. So, Dr. Shweta is a founder and thought leader at Skin Sense Aesthetic Clinic. She's also a creator of Healthy Hair Forever Masterclass. She's also an author of Firm and Radiant in Your 40s, and she's also a YouTuber. She helps ambitious, proactive action takers to be awesome inside out by enabling them to have amazing skin and hair at any age. Her beauty and wellness solutions are globally proven to give transformational and lasting results. Unlike the casually recommended tips that neither give desired or lasting results, and many times you do more harm than good. So that is Shweta's brief introduction. Dr. Shweta, I want to start my live show by asking you a very important question. This
Mhm.
may sound too basic, but I have to ask you this: what is an inner world, and how do you identify it?
So, we have all been hearing about being. So, when we talk about even the secret, initially people took it very casually and they said that it was just about affirmations and it was just about desiring something and visualizing something. But slowly and steadily, as people started going deeper and deeper into it, we did realize that we can attract who we are. So, we kind of something about our energy, something about our enthusiasm, maybe like they say your vibe attracts your tribe, so something about our vibe is what attracts what is around us. So I was reading a very interesting quote recently. Of course, I've read similar quotes in the past, that it said that success is something you attract, not success is something you chase. And how can you attract something? By being a person who is worthy of it. So the question that you asked me, what is your inner world, is your inner world is what you identify as a being. So I think, if I put it into words and if I try to say that point one, point two, I will dilute the essence. So, these are certain things that each one of us has to find that sweet spot for ourselves. But nevertheless, it is something that keeps you, that you find your point of peace, you find your purpose, and people are able to identify with who you are. Somehow you feel that you are attracting the right people, attracting the right opportunities. And yes, all of us have to work hard. No dream works till you do the work. But then when you're working, when you identify your inner world, it's no longer a chase, according to me. Suddenly you just feel that you're prepared and opportunities come your way and you are able to take the next step. And of course, when you are operating from an inner world level, you do not separate so much between me and you. Probably you are somewhere connecting towards a larger cause. So an inner world is where you discover your uniqueness, but at the same time also realize that you are a part of the greater whole.
Super. So when you focus on your outer world, you chase success, and when you focus on your inner world, you attract success. I think that's the best way to put this.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing.
So
So now,
that
yeah.
people have always said, and we've read it in so many books, that you got to work on the roots, not on the fruits. But unfortunately, it's the age of instant gratification, and everybody just wants to work on the fruits. So, like, people are talking about how many followers and how many likes. Of course, this is a very silly example, but still, all of us get awed by the number of followers and likes. But what is real is the content, what is real is the value that that person is providing. So, somewhere it is focusing on the roots and letting the fruits take care of themselves.
Superb, superb. So that's a very interesting perspective, Dr. Shweta. And I've always seen that people do not take themselves too seriously. I'm not talking about the wellness or the self care part of it, but it's the way you treat yourself. What
Hmm.
do you see in your own eyes? How do you see in your own eyes? So I want to ask you this. Now that we know what is the inner world, and now that we know that our inner world can help us attract success, what is the best way to treat our inner world or to treat ourselves?
Uh, so I think the most important thing is identifying that each one of us is unique. So I am a unique individual, but that doesn't mean that I feel I'm the only unique individual. So saying I'm unique and so is everybody else. So this there is no place of competition. Once you start identifying your uniqueness, then you truly understand that there is abundance. Because as long as you do not identify it, you are somewhere in the competitive space, and the competitive space is a very high pressure space. It doesn't allow you to bloom. So again, that becomes that chase concept. So the first thing is identify and celebrate your uniqueness. So, like, I never say, as an aesthetic clinic, as a founder of an aesthetic clinic, I do not say we make you beautiful. I just say that we partner with you to be the best version of your own self. So the first, I think people are, when they say that, how will I, pamper myself, or what is the best way to treat myself? Then people will say, I'll go to a spa, I'll go to a parlor, I'll get some highlights done. And then they'll try to buy the most trending, what is most sought after, and they'll go into this belongingness. Because there's nothing wrong with belongingness, but I think uh, it begins with loving ourselves, celebrating ourselves, forgiving ourselves, being nice to ourselves. So I think the best way to treat ourselves, if I have to say just one line to sum it all, I say it begins with self-compassion. One thing I've seen, especially being in the aesthetic industry, when people get so upset about one pimple or one wrinkle, I think people are being too hard on themselves, and people are just trying to chase that perfection. Whereas perfection and excellence are unconnected. You need not be perfect. You can just celebrate your uniqueness, and you will see that excellence, you will walk the path of excellence.
Interesting, interesting. Now that you have mentioned about how to treat ourselves, and you also mentioned about attracting success and not chasing success. Now, anything that attracts has
Hmm.
got amazing magnetic power.
Yes.
So how to become a magnet that attracts success?
So, there is, like I spoke about abundance, so there is enough for everybody in this world, and we all have carved our own niche. We all have a place where we are going to be successful. So this success becomes a struggle for most of us when we feel that that is the more trending thing to do, or this is the more financially viable or the more respectable thing to do. So when we try to become someone else because we think that by becoming someone else, something is going to open up for us, or we say that success is about becoming like another person. So I think the best way is to find out what resonates with you. So when you find out what resonates with you, it is a journey. It is a journey of allowing yourself. Probably, we like, there was this question which I was discussing with a couple of people this morning also, about hunger. So we've become too disciplined. I'm not against discipline, but we've become so disciplined that kind of we've internalized that we have to do this, we shouldn't do this, we must not do this. We are not paying enough attention to what makes our souls sing. So you need to just identify, you need to go more on the feeling aspect of yourself and say that, how do I feel about this? Where did this come from? One, we have to stop being too judgmental, and we need to allow ourselves. So like even positive thinking that people talk about, I feel this positive thinking, sometimes people feel that, oh, how are you? I'm on top of the world. So every day morning they have to answer, how are you? Only as I'm on top of the world, which is not even possible. So if I say I'm not feeling great today, which is perfectly fine again, because it's a cycle of life. And then you are, as long as you say, I'm not feeling great, but I'm okay with not feeling great today, that doesn't define me, that doesn't justify me, that I allow myself to not feel great. So I think allowing ourselves to feel more, allowing ourselves to accept more, and to some extent unlearning what we have felt that this is what we are and this is what success means to us. So it's a process which probably, comes as you walk a journey of purpose. So to me, being an entrepreneur and being a first generation entrepreneur, having so many ups and downs and having so many sleepless nights throughout the journey, I mean, somewhere I have got in touch with both heights of pleasure and depths of pain. So I've felt both, and as I started allowing myself to feel both of these, I realized that you then realize who you are, what you stand for, what makes your soul sing, what do you want to go after. So I always say that the journey of entrepreneurship has not been very difficult for me, whereas being a first generation entrepreneur from a middle class family with limited resources and having a business which is capital intensive and doing a lot of things which are like the first time in the central suburbs, not that it was easy, but when you align to your purpose, then it just seems worth it.
You picked a very important point of motivation and feeling happy and feeling positive. And I've heard the trainers and coaches, and I've read so many books where they talk about power of manifestation. To my in my view, I don't buy that completely, because success is not just about how you think, it's all about action. While I
Hmm.
like the theory of manifestation, what you think is how you feel, and how you feel is how you act, and how you act is what kind of results you generate. All those things are good, but what
Hmm.
next? So if manifestation is the strategy, what is the implementation, what is execution? And this is where I feel that only by having positive mindset or a positive energy will not take you where you want to go, because at the end of the day you have to implement. No, the game is
Hmm.
about execution. The game is not about planning and thinking. So on that note, I want to ask you, what are the actions required to change your inner world? It is not just about thinking. We both agree to it. It's not about manifestation. It's about putting things into practice. Now, what are those actions, Dr. Shweta?
Yeah. So, like we said, putting things into practice. So, when you are sharing that with me, somewhere you are meaning to say that implementation, it doesn't come very easy to people. People struggle with implementation. People have a huge to-do list, which they say that, oh, nothing gets done. They are blaming other people. More often than blaming other people, they are even blaming themselves. So, taking consistent action is a challenge for most of the people. The most common excuse, if I could use the word, people give is that, oh, we do not have the time. We are doing so many things and we are extremely busy and we do not have the time. So I primarily think is, first and foremost, if you are completely aligned to what you are doing, you will be able to find the time. When you do not have crystal clear clarity of what is it that you want, you will not find the time, because you're not very sure of anything and you don't have your core values in place. Even these core values and things like that, I think I've read from the management textbooks. But when I talk about an inner world, you just know that this is what you stand for, this is what you belong to. So I think everybody must spend some time in a day just reflecting, just spending time probably in silence, or spending time doing things they just enjoy doing. Because as entrepreneurs, I think we are extremely goal oriented.
Yeah.
We all have dreams, we all have business plans, we have bills to pay, we have so many other things. So we become extremely goal oriented. So for me, what has worked and what I have helped people do is, I've helped them come out of that goal orientedness for some time of the day and allow themselves to be with their own being and see that what exactly drives them. So whenever I feel very happy, I just ask that, what about this did I feel so happy about? Whenever I'm low, I could ask myself, what about this makes me feel so low about? And probably all these roots are rooted in our childhood, and there are certain things, there are certain times when we have decided that this is what we are going to prove to the world, and there are a lot of things which slowly dissolve. So for me, all answers will come to a common point which says that at a point you feel this is not about proving anything to anybody else. This is not about materialistic gain. This is about a purpose which makes you enthusiastic, which makes you energetic, a purpose which allows you to take that step even when you feel like, oh my God, this is so difficult. It makes everything worth it. So I think the most important thing to change our inner world one has to do is one has to spend some time in introspection, because we're all trying to be clones of each other. We're all trying to beat each other at so many things, but then it need not happen. So there is a difference between a need and a want. So even I go back and look as how many subscribers I have today. Every time I have 100 more subscribers, I do feel happy about it. But that is not at a need level. So once we start saying that, okay, this is a want, this is a need. And so we're not so driven, we're not so obsessed. So once we make a list of all the things that stress us and find out what about this that stresses us. What is the belief that is stressing us so much about this action? And then we will be able to analyze what are the beliefs we are holding on to so firmly. And we all have the chance to re-examine those beliefs and then think whether it's really worth it. So as you start doing these, you will know that most of the things you are holding on so tightly are things that are not so important to you. So the more you get in touch with your inner world, so it's a vicious cycle. The more you will have free time, the more free time you have and the more time you spend on meaningful things, the more your inner world will reveal itself to you. So it's like a beautiful cycle, which initially may be a little painful, because we have so many layers that initially it just feels like, no, this is not making any sense. So I think it's a journey, and the journey just comes by allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling rather than saying that, no, I'm just fine and I'm on top of the world.
When we talk about actions, okay, and I have seen people who have bright shiny disorder or shiny object syndrome, where they like something, they jump into it, and they like something else, and they again jump into it. So they don't complete what they start, and this is primarily because of the shiny object syndrome or bright shiny disorder, however you put it. So
Yeah.
how do you ensure that you not only change, but you sustain change? You be in the change. You don't have to get too excited or too overwhelmed or too confused when you are in the process. How do you stick to a process? And in today's context, I want to ask you, Dr. Shweta, how do you sustain change and keep moving in the right direction?
So if you had to just put it down as action steps, like we are in a conversation and somehow this conversation is getting at a too spiritual kind of a level to some extent. But when I talk to my clients, I would talk about basic things like eating well, having a good appetite, making healthy choices, having basic knowledge of what could be the healthy choices. So spending some time understanding how you could improve your lifestyle, how you could improve your sleep. I wouldn't say even the quality of sleep, the time of sleep, but how you could improve the quality of sleep. So I talk to my clients because most of them are successful clients already. But then, even the most successful people, you are a coach yourself, you know that they're dealing with a lot of stress. So outside they may seem like they have it all, but a lot of people deal with a lot of stress. And being from the aesthetic industry, I know that everything else being in place, also stress is going to, dampen everything. Stress is going to kill you. So yes, I do educate about healthy diet. I educate about sleeping enough. I educate about taking some small practices to get sound sleep. Like one of my clients, I told them, instead of having a wake up alarm, why don't you try setting a go to sleep alarm?
Go
So,
to sleep
if
alarm.
you shut down all your devices and say, this is my go-to sleep alarm, eventually you will realize your quota of sleep is complete and you don't need a wake-up alarm at all. So if
Yeah.
I know, I'm aware that my body needs 7 hours of sleep, and I put a go-to sleep alarm 7 hours before I want to wake up, I mean, I've won the battle. I don't have to struggle and put off my alarm clock. So smaller things of thinking, what is a smart way to do it? What is a convenient way to do it? What is a sustainable way to do it? So when you start asking questions, like again, you are a coach, so you definitely know that the power is in asking the right questions.
Right
So
questions. True.
yeah. So you've come up with an absolutely beautiful topic today that change your inner world. So all those wonderful people who are listening to us, I would just want you to ask the question, what steps can I take to change my inner world?
Mm.
So we all know that right from a baby, everybody needs proper sleep, nutritious food, proper diet, good relationships, a proper environment, both in terms of physical and mental, saying no to things that annoy us or make us feel uncomfortable. So those are the things which you have to see. What are the things? So if you have to write down what are the things that are affecting you. So to not make it very complicated, we would call it stressing you. So at some level, if you feel irritated, angry, stressful, whether it be stressed about a situation or generally stressed, you need to find out what are the things that are stressing you. And like if you are connected to your inner world, you will have good stress coping mechanisms. Because
Mm.
to me, stress is just a conversation in your head about something. It may not be real because it
Mm.
is something that is not current. Anyways, it's in the future. So
Mm.
most
Mm.
of the time, most of us are stressed. There are hardly anybody who's stressed about being in a soup right now. Of course, there may be some real cases, but 98% of the times we're stressed about if this continues, what will happen? If this
Yeah.
happens, how will I manage? So then anything that's making you stressed, I think we need to find out that why am I stressed? Am I stressed because I'm sleepy and I'm very tired and I've not been able to sleep well, or I'm stressed because I'm hungry or I overate or I'm not eating nutritious. So at all lifestyle levels, you need to, because finally your body has to cooperate with you, when you're taking your inner world journey also. So when you say inner world, probably people think, oh, inner world has nothing to do with the body. But then I talk about inner world, but all the work I do in the outer world. So
Outer world.
then
Yeah.
so both are inseparably connected. So you need to make sure that either, sometimes you work on your inner world to work on your outer world. And if that gets very difficult, then you start working on your outer world so that your inner world you're able to now work on your inner world. So to keep moving in the right direction and sustain change, the first thing you need to do is take care of your body. So it's paradoxical, but you need to take care of your body. You need to take care of your vitamins, the kind of food you eat, whether you're eating right. If your digestion is not so good, you need to ask the questions that what am I doing that I continuously do not have? I have too much acidity or I have a bad appetite. So those kind of things, when you ask the right questions, you will know what to do. And of course, professional work help is definitely available. But it comes from not looking for quick fixes. It comes from looking for solutions which you take responsibility of. And as you start having a healthier body, more energy and enthusiasm because your body is ready to take that journey into the inner world, I think then it becomes easier to sit in silence, ask those questions. You become a better time manager slowly and steadily. Because with higher energy, you get more done in less time. So then,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. One thing that I do personally, and I can talk about myself here, is the way you look at your habits, the way you change your habits. And one resource that, or one book that has really changed me is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a fantastic book, and I
Yeah.
have recommended all my students and clients to read that book. And then he also talks about these small things that can make a huge difference. The
Yes.
the atomic habits per se. So you're spot on when you said small things can take you places. It's not about making those big changes, But I think small positive steps, but positive steps, not positive thinking, but positive steps can really help you achieve whatever you want to achieve in your life and business. So thank you so much, Dr. Shweta. It was a pleasure talking to you. But before I let you go, tell us more about your upcoming projects.
Yeah, I'm a founder of an aesthetic clinic, Skin Sense. An aesthetic clinic is a place where people come to have amazing skin, hair, and body shape at any age. So, what exactly happens at an aesthetic clinic? It's called a clinic because it is run by doctors. So, I have founded this clinic called Skin Sense, and I have a team of doctors, and these doctors work on your cellular health. So, they would work on your cellular health by ensuring that you eat right, by ensuring you get the right dose of vitamins. And then they also give you what can you apply in terms of maybe a sunscreen, in terms of what kind of face wash, because finally everybody is doing something. Nobody can do nothing. Because even if you say, I'm not doing anything, you're still doing nothing. So, we tell you what is the right thing to do according to your age, according to your environment, because now we're spending such long hours in the AC, which is a totally unnatural environment. So if I am living in an unnatural environment and I am thinking that everything will take care of itself, it will not, because once upon a time, we were not living in an unnatural environment. So how you can cope up, how you can keep your cells comfortable in an unnatural environment. So those are the things we do. We also use laser technology, because what happens is with the wear and tear, sometimes people come in they do not take action at the right time. They are left with marks and scars, and that is taking a beating on the self-esteem. So as much as I believe, like I said, the inner world is important, but suppose something in your outer world is affecting your inner world, then you need to correct the outer world. So you need to understand that you can't be lopsided completely, and you cannot be, because not every time and not everybody will have the strength to just ignore the outer world and focus on the inner world. So whatever works for you. So I think the takeaway message will be whatever works for you. Rather than walking the path which has worked for somebody else and thinking that this is the only way to make things work for me, I just tell people that there is a solution that is made for you. I mean, keep looking for it till you find. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep exploring. Let's keep saying that, will this be comfortable for you? What in this will be comfortable for you? What else do you expect? What else is possible? So continuously, I'm encouraging people to ask questions and reach the place where it excites them. Finally, people want to see results. So whether we do inner work or outer work, like you must be working on the mindset of a lot of entrepreneurs, but finally you cannot show the result in terms of some kind of a mindset report card. The results finally come in the balance sheet. So similarly, we do a lot of work towards the mindset of the people who are not able to handle the physical changes. A lot of people feel very upset about aging also. A lot of women, who look so beautiful all their life, and suddenly when they start looking not so good, it kind of upsets them. So we work with them in a very holistic manner. Of course, we do certain things which can transform their external appearance also. And side by side also tell them how they can gracefully accept any phase of their life and still be the best version of themselves. So that's about the message. And I really love the topic about the inner world changing your outer world. And I would also like to say that changing your outer world can also change your inner world. Like if I'm feeling very grumpy and angry at some point of time because it's so hot and humid, sometimes just switching on the AC can change my feeling grumpy. So it's not just one way, it could be both ways. So just understand that sometimes I have to press this button and sometimes I have to press that one. But finally, I have to balance the two and be the best version of myself is what is my message to everybody.
Superb. That was an amazing talk, Dr. Shweta. Thank you so much for doing this. And to all the viewers, I come live twice a week. Monday 7 p.m. I do live training on marketing, sales, and business. And Friday 7 p.m. I have a guest speaker and we discuss live. So catch me live every Monday and every Friday at 7 p.m. You can see the link on your ticker. And on that note, I would like to thank Shweta once again for doing this. Dr. Shweta, I wish you all the best. May you grow, may you keep changing lives around you, and may you achieve all the success that you've dreamt about. Thank you so much, Dr. Shweta.
I know if any of you wants to connect with me to know more about what I do, my website is www.skinnsense.co.in. My name is Dr.
Can you spell it out for us? I will put on the ticker. Skin Sense.
SKIN SENSE. It is www.skinnsense.co.in. Co.in. And my full name is Dr. Shweta Iyengar, 𝗬𝚋𝗿𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍. You have written my name, and I make YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel where I post 4 videos in a week, and they are about how to choose the right moisturizer, what not to eat if you have acne, how to deal with dandruff, and a lot of such things. So I'm sure a lot of people will find it useful. They're all, like you rightly said, they're all tips on which you can take action instantly. So please have a look and let me know if I could add any value.
Sure. I will do it right away after the show is over. And I'll definitely have a look at your YouTube video, and I'll subscribe and hit the bell icon also. I'll do that.
Has liked our message. So thank you, Suparna. I mean, it makes me feel good that you like the conversation.
So Kavita also liked it. So we're getting comments. So yeah, so it's good. It was really helpful. It's really helpful.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, all of you. Have a good time.